Hello and welcome to the Green Machine. We are live and we are sexy. I'm David, your host, as always, joined by Nick and Martin. And speaking of sex, we have a really sexy show for you here tonight. I'm not don't worry, lads, you're safe there. Not yet, anyway. We'll see when we get a bit more popular. Let's have a look and see what we got lined up for you. So, as always, we're brought to you by notogotogate.com. Don't get me started on it. We're going to start off with a bit of Boys in Green, which is basically anything Republic of Ireland related, news, ticket information. Martin Delaney's on with us tonight, so he's going to get us hooked up with a few. He's your man for it. Basically anything to do with the Irish team. We'll also be discussing pitch invasions. Are they the new plague of English football? A bit of social media watch, and this week, back in the day. So, bumper crop, as Richard Richardson would say. All right, let's get into it. Our Boys in Green. Now, before we get into a bit more about that, let's have another look at the revised fixtures for the Irish team coming up for the Nations League and other bits and pieces. So in June, on the 4th of June, away, we started campaign against Armenia. Then we're at home to Ukraine. That's on the 8th. Then we play Scotland at home on the 11th. And then we play Ukraine on the 14th away in Poland. Of course, not in the Ukraine, because that wouldn't be wise. Then in September, we play Scotland on the 24th, and that's away, and then Armenia on the 27th at home. And of course, we have that friendly before the World Cup to be confirmed in November. Before we get into that, lads, some good news for those of you, especially in Ireland. Well, those Nations League games for the first time ever will be shown on RTE. They've got all rights, I think, all the way through to 2024. So they get two campaigns under the belt. So there you go, lads. Hopefully a bit better than especially you, Martin. We've commented on this quite a lot, haven't we? The whole 30-second build-up down the back in someone's shed or down the end of someone's garden in someone's shed. Looks a bit like Eurosport from like 1995, isn't it? 30-second build-up and then all of a sudden they're,
Yeah, it's Mickey Mouse production from Sky on. It's like secondary thought, basically. I'm looking forward to the games. I'm delighted they're up. We want more and more people in Ireland to be able to see these games, kids to be able to see them around and have the Sky Sports package and things like that. So, look, I think that's really important. And I'm looking forward to the games as well. As I said, just a bit of kind of ticket news on it. Lots of applications have come in for the games. The revised fixtures did mess up a lot of people, didn't they, David? Yourself and myself included.
Yep. Go to
but yeah.
Bastards, don't use them. Sorry.
But I think even there is a lot of support out there for the team. Things have been going well. I think it's going to be a tough 4 games, I think, for Ireland. At the end of this, the season's just finished now, obviously in the Premier League. All right, not a lot of our players were involved, but it's only a 2-3 week turnaround before we get stuck into them fixtures. A big camp. I'd expect to see, the squad's going to be announced this week. Quite a big squad, I think, will be announced originally, and I'd expect a few pullouts as well. But I think anyone who really wants to be part of the kind of Kenny football revolution that we're all jumping on, I'm hoping they're going to be there.
Right.
And the fans are certainly going in big numbers. I think even to Poland, that's not a bad trip for that game, and Armenia as well. People are travelling, so it's great to see.
Before we continue, lads, we have a comment.
Oh,
how are you, lads? Counting the days till we go. Till we're done with that Umbro guff away to Jesus with it. A great page on Twitter is football in T80s. Great clips from back in the day. Thank you.
Kieran's weekly anti-Umbro comments. Yeah. I love it.
Very much appreciated.
I better cover this. I better cover my Umbro top there.
Absolutely. Really looking forward to those games, actually. Going over for the home games myself. Nick, are you going to any of the games, or are you just gonna, stay home watching more tea now because they're free?
Well, I'm actually at a wedding for the Armenia game, so Conor Maguire, if he's listening, it's all your fault that I'm missing
Connor's
that.
fault,
yeah, all Connor's fault, not my fault. I won't be going to Poland, unfortunately, work commitments and so on. But the 2 home games, I'll be there. And I'm very much looking forward to it. I love the summer fixtures. I love when the games are on during the brightness. There's something lovely about that. Yeah. Something lovely about that Belgium game back in March when it was bright. So I'm excited for that. Hoping not to get the shit kicked out of me when we play Scotland. And I'm hoping Putin doesn't nuke us when we play Ukraine. But apart from that, I'm excited for the football, lads.
There you go. If you're excited about it, give us a shout. As always, we want to hear from you guys. We want to hear your live comments. Get involved. Tell us how great we're doing. Whatever's on your mind, or if you have something to say about whatever our opinions. Actually, I tell you what, we're going to touch on it later on back in the day. But speaking of opinions, I put a post up about an Ireland win on this day back in 1987, and Jesus, I got hammered over it. Do you know that? Hammered over. Yeah, I got absolutely hammered over it. I'll talk about it later on anyway. But yeah, get your opinions into us, guys. Of course, if you're listening on the audio podcast, which this will become, sorry, you're too late. It's happened. Talk to us next week about it. Right. Well, I suppose we'll have a little look and see how our very short list, actually, of Irish players, how they got on over the weekend. Caoimhín Kelleher, an unused sub in Liverpool's failed title push. I'm sure
hey.
Shane.
Sorry.
I'm sorry. And we're in Manchester United? Sorry? Couldn't hear you.
I'm just laughing about something else.
Yeah. Did you know, actually, Liverpool, when United won the treble, they only had 79 points, was it? Liverpool have 92. Just putting it out there. Yeah. All right, we'll try it again. Caoimhín Kelleher was an unused sub in Liverpool's glorious title challenge, which sadly was undone due to corruption. Shane Duffy was an unused sub as well. He's got his injury problems. Seamus Coleman, an unused sub, even though he's the greatest man ever, according to Frank Lampard. Nathan Collins, 90 minutes and a 2 on defeat. Unfortunately, they go down. Josh Cullen, 91 minutes in a 1-1 draw for Anderlecht. And Shane Long, 8 minutes and a 4-1 defeat. There you go, lads. Glowing. Yeah. The lads really glowing over the weekend. Well, actually, no, to be fair, there was one lad out of there glowing. And it wasn't Seamus Coleman. Sorry, Frank Lampard, if you're listening. Nathan Collins. Let's have a look at him, lads. 21 years of age. Joined June 2021 for £12 million. And his last 10 games, he has played 90 minutes in every single one of them with 2 goals. This lad, Nick, is really onto something, isn't he? If you ever put in Nathan Collins into Twitter, you just read the comments about him. It's just glowing, isn't it? Everyone just loves this guy. Yeah. He's a complete defender, isn't he?
Complete defender's the word, Dave. Yeah, for sure. I mean, he's good in the ground. He's about 6'5", isn't he? He's a big lump of a man, but he's very, very athletic. Not the quickest, but the athleticism that he shows is fantastic. I mean, that clearance against Spurs last week, when we just kind of nixing at the back post, he's got it all really, and he's a very mature defender. Like he captained Stoke, didn't he, when he was there? So he's a player well beyond his years. We spoke about him last week on the show at length. We've spoken about him a lot in the last few months. Burnley, I don't know the exact extent. I should have looked this up a little bit before we came on, but they have a loan.
Would have been handy.
Yeah, it would have been handy. Yeah, not like me not to do my homework, is it? But they have a loan that was basically dependent on them staying up. So now that they've been relegated, they're going to come into serious financial issues if they don't sell. And if you look at Collins, if you look at the traction that he's gotten over the last month, I mean, he was nominated for Player of the Month, wasn't he? And I mean, he's got a couple of international caps. He's probably going to be a starter, I think, in the summer for us. I mean, before games, he's definitely going to start a couple of them. If they're going to sell players, I mean, you look at, say, is it Cornet who joined them and did very, very well. James Tarkowski, I think, is leaving on a free, but they will need to sell players. And Collins, he's been linked with big clubs in the past, hasn't he? Like he's been linked with United, Arsenal. Don't know if they're a big club anymore, but linked with Arsenal. I can see him going to, kind of somewhere like a Leeds or a Brighton or somewhere like that, and then maybe building on the form that he had. But I don't think Burnley can afford to keep him. And when they were going down, I kind of felt a little bit like Jerome Bamidele. I kind of felt, well, if they get relegated, another season of Championship football could be really, really good for him. But he's had a couple of seasons in the Championship with Stoke. He's had his season in the Premier League with Burnley. Didn't play that many games, but he made an impact in every single one. So I think he's going to leave, and I don't think he's going to go to a United or an Arsenal or anyone like that. But I think he will pick up a Premier League club or maybe go further afield. Who knows? But I think he will be leaving them.
Do you feel the same way, Martin? Do you think he's going to go? He's too good to play in the Championship?
Yeah, he's too good to play in the Championship. I think he will go. I think, like Nick said, I think probably United, Arsenal, perhaps too big. Maybe Arsenal, to be honest. Villa could be another one. Newcastle as well. Just they're going to be building a squad of really good, talented players, and you can see someone
Man
like
United
that coming in.
Would he want to? Would he want
Yeah,
to
exactly. Yeah, that's the question.
Steve McLaren, 4-4-2 over the top, lads.
Yeah, I think we're really blessed with centre backs at the moment, and I think.
Oh, are you? That's new.
No. I'm on about Ireland.
Oh, right.
I just think
United.
Do you think he's the best? Do you think he's the best out of all the Martin? Out of all the young lads coming up, the young centre halves, like you've seen him play for the 21s and you've seen him play for the seniors. What do you think?
Yeah, I think he probably is the up and coming ones. I think Bamadelli sadly had the injury problem. That was a shame for him. And I think McGuinness as well. He's doing very well, but I think he's obviously playing at that level. And it's interesting, sadly, that Egan didn't, get promoted. Club captain, it'd be very difficult for him to leave Sheffield United, but that's possibly a move. But you've got to remember as well that, like, Shane Duffy, where's he going now? What's he doing? Where's his next move going to be? Is he going to have to leave Brighton because, he's not even playing any time?
So hasn't he?
He has, and that's what I think is going to be really important for okay, he'll have a probably a rehab summer, to be honest. But this guy is definitely hitting the ground running. He's going to play in these games, I think, and we'll see him perhaps cement his place now at the heart of Ireland's defence, I think.
Absolutely. No, definitely Ireland, not United. Ireland are definitely filthy rich in terms of quality at the centre back. Did you? I touched on it earlier on about Seamus Coleman being the greatest person ever, according to Frank Lampard. Did you guys see the video? Did you?
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
If you haven't seen it, for you at home, about to watch it. This is proper. It's nice. Don't get me wrong, and it's lovely to see. But take a look or take a listen if you're listening to it on the podcast.
In front of everyone, that one of the best people I've ever met, as a man and what you are, and as a dead player.
On a scale of yes, how much did Seamus Coleman fucking hate that? And was that you, Nick, on your stags over the weekend? Was it to to the stag? Was it after?
Yeah, this is kind of 3 a.m. After a few sherbets. All right, yeah. Look, I mean, it's no revelation, is it? I mean, he's one of the most highly spoken people in football, Seamus Coleman, isn't he? And I mean, there's that clip a couple of days later with his two kids. And Frank Lampard comes up and he's like, "Oh, your daddy's one of the best people I've ever met." So it's no kind of it's no surprise. But when I hear this stuff and when I see this stuff, I look at it with a bit of regret, because if you look at someone with the esteem of Frank Lampard, won league titles with Chelsea, one of the best midfielders that the Premier League's ever seen, and the fact that he's holding him in such high regard, having been around, such incredible players, such incredible managers, such incredible football people. It just shows that if he hadn't had his injury issue, Seamus would have gone to the very, very, very top, I think.
I think so too. He would have even ended up at United when they were decent.
I said the very, very top, Dave.
Yeah. What do you reckon, Martin?
I absolutely love Seamus Coleman. This is, I don't have really a big problem with this. This is only telling us something that we all know. He's so highly respected in the game. When the Big Six or whatever they tried to do, that Super League and stuff, he was one of the leading captains of those teams who got together to kind of, get the club players' viewpoint out to the kind of public, to the paying public, people who are, the bread and butter of football. And, I just think the esteem he's held in. I mean, look, let's be honest. Frank Lampard's going to know a lot of scumbags. He came through Chelsea, didn't he? He's going to know a lot of them.
Calm down.
Well, he is, though, isn't he? Like, you got to just remember, like, I think, if I was to show, like, my son a proper footballer, a proper pro, is Seamus Coleman. Just how he conducts himself as an Ireland player, how he is around the camp. I've been lucky enough to see him in the team hotel, how he engages with players, parents and stuff. He is just the embodiment of, he's never lost that natural Irish thing. I think just the welcome that he has. He's just so grounded. I think he's absolutely amazing. I mean, like he's just inspirational for me, and I think it's just it's brilliant to see the footballing world kind of wake up to it. He's always been a talented footballer, but I think he's just kind of innocent, Seamus, that he never wanted to go. He just felt so blessed in a way. 65 grand, nothing.
Yeah,
and made a career in the Premier League, and just fell in love with that club basically. And I know
I think it's called, is it?
No, I just think it's just incredible loyalty and appreciation what he wanted to do. He was happy with his career. He's an Ireland captain now, and could he have pushed himself? I don't know. I think he had a very good career.
I think he did. I think I don't think I even think it was about pushing himself. I think it was the timing of his injury, because it was just before that leg break that apparently he was it was almost a done deal that he was going to United in the January, and then he broke the leg. Like I think
him up, haven't you?
I think had he not broken the leg, I think he would have gone to a top team.
Yeah, I mean, we have said it in the past. We won't go into it too much. We got to move it on. But look, I've always said that's my criticism of Irish players, isn't it? Bar Roy Keane, a lot of them just kind of get comfy, don't they? Get comfy, they settle down, like the area, like the club. They like me. I'm not from here, but they've, I don't want to move on. I just want to stay here. Where some of the so-called foreign players, from abroad, I should say, from the continent and all that, they're happy to sort of go from one club to the next, one country to the next, because they want to play at the best level they possibly can. But yeah, I'm probably more keen to agree with Nick there. I think it was his leg break, and they actually, when he was recovering from that, if I remember early on in his recovery, they actually put a contract in his face, didn't they? And I thought that was the cynical side of me. Thought that's very clever.
Well, he's contracted to get a coaching role, isn't he, when he retires? So it looks like he'll probably finish up there.
He'll make a great coach. I've met Seamus as well. He's a lovely fella, and he is a leader. He's a proper leader. Like he'll make an absolutely fantastic coach. Just gonna, sorry, Martin, you're gonna come in on that?
Don't want to dwell too long on it, but I mean, the reason they stayed up is because he kept that dressing room together and galvanised them. That's a massive factor in football. It is. I think
that's the quality, though, is it?
No, I know that, but I'm just saying that's if they had a real poisonous, like the whole Lampard, I think's nicked a bit of a living out of this. To be honest, the history books will say he kept them up and stuff, and he did. But all that, I'd actually have more cringe about him dancing around on a roof afterwards and getting all Everton fans singing his name and stuff. But he realised that you have to have the fans engaged with you and all backing you. And it wasn't going to turn it there. It was going to be poisonous atmosphere coming in there. And I think in the dressing room, the main leader for him was Seamus Coleman, without a doubt. Yeah, and that's what kept them up ultimately.
Even not a fan.
In short, like Coleman was the character in a characterless dressing room.
Yeah, fair enough. But I'll just say this for Everton. Their fans were giving him dogs abuse, just saying. And
that's a fact as well, yeah. Football-wise, yeah. If they'd have gone down, they'd be saying, he's too old and he's this. So it's the fickleness of football.
I think it's just hilarious that Everton's greatest achievement this year is Liverpool not winning the league. And United's, actually. Oh, dear. Anyway, let's have a look at some of the comments. Darryl O'Connor. Story, lads. Story, Darryl. Great. Thank you for joining us on YouTube, as always. Here's an interesting one. Dennis Granell has a great question here. I'm going to read it out. Obviously, I'll put it on the screen for you guys watching at home, but I'll read it out for the podcast listeners further on down. Dennis Granell. Gents, what's your opinion on myself and a few other fans pursuing the FAI for Compo because of the fixture change for the Nations League? Apparently, they had a heads up about the date change, but didn't cascade this info to the fans before a lot of us booked and lost money on flights. I've mailed Jonathan Hill, and he's basically told me to F off politely, to which I responded that his predecessor would have got at least a couple of million on Compo. Should the FAI do more to look after the fans? Martin, you are the man to answer this one.
Look, if you're trying to be reliant on the FAI giving you current up-to-date information, we've got to learn our lessons. Nothing's changed there as far as
there goes a press pass.
Yeah. Oh no. Jesus, you didn't go on about it enough, did you? But
hold on, where is it?
Where's the lanyard? Yeah, where's the lanyard?
Oh, that could be in the bedroom. Don't worry about that. That goes in the bedroom.
Hold on. You asked for it.
Oh no.
Here we go.
Hold on. Got it around, mate. I can't even,
look at that. So unprofessional.
Properly. Anyway, there it is.
So unprofessional. You can't even put it on. No wonder you don't get invited to Abbottstown.
There we go.
Yeah, you don't get invited to Abbottstown. You can't even put that on. Now, and you do deserve it. Anyway.
Oh yes.
Just on this, like I said, the communication out of Abbottstown is ridiculous on things like this. They would have been negotiating and working out stuff. You know, we were getting told that where the game was and it hadn't been officially released and things like that. So, that's just what we're dealing with at the moment. Some things have not changed clearly. Whether it's worth pursuing the FAI who have got no money, I can't see it really being a waste of time, to be honest, because you're not going to get anything out of them. No. I think what I read into that comment as well, to be honest, is the new CEO's engagement with the fans is, quite blunt, to be honest. Not like his predecessor. He probably would have got 5 million, the predecessor, but we probably would have had to only declare 2 had come into the association, perhaps. But I think that's just the way it is at the moment. I think the scenario of COVID matches and the situation with Ukraine wasn't going to be easy to resolve. Look, a lot of us even here have missed out and lost money on these flights and rearranged games and stuff. And look, the FAI aren't going to be able to compensate us. And it's an interesting one. I hadn't really thought of it myself because I just thought it was a bit of a futile exercise, to be honest.
Yeah, I agree there. We're football fans. Well, you and I are, Martin. Nick just watched them on RTE. We are treated like absolute garbage. I lost about 300 quid on gotogate.com. Just saying. I know I don't talk about it very often, but just thought I'd mention it this week. And yeah, it's pretty shit. I don't think you're going to get anywhere, if I'm honest. I'd have to 100% agree there with Martin. Dennis, you're just not going to get anywhere with them. So I hope you do.
I've got no money though, have they? Yeah. So where are they compensating you from? They're compensating you for nothing.
It's terrible. Even the Scotland game. It's like, why did you even move the Scotland game? The away game? No, that's probably SFA.
The other thing is that it's not as if they've even got a sponsor who they can kind of go to and say, "Oh, look, let's accommodate the lads who missed out on this, and if you can prove you booked and stuff, oh look, we'll sort something out for you." They haven't even got that organised at the moment, so that's where we are.
Aaron. Right, we'll move that one on there. Paul Cullerton, how's it going, Paul? Do you think any of the current under 21 squad will be called up to the senior squad this week? Nick.
Yeah, I don't know. Like Joel Bagan is the only one I can think of, and the only reason for that is because we've no depth at left back, do we? But I wouldn't actually have Bagan in there at all. Ebisele, I know he didn't play for the 21s the last time round, but if he wants to play for us, there's question marks around that, isn't there? He might come in. He hasn't played the last few games. I don't know. Connor Coventry was excellent for MK Dons, but I think Crawford wants to keep that 21 team together. Unless there's anyone doing exceptionally well out of that group at senior level, senior club level, I don't think that they're going to come in. There could be someone, like, you never know. Ebisele, the fact he didn't play for the 21s the last time or wasn't in the 21 squad, Crawford might say, well, he wasn't involved, so let him be with the seniors. But he hasn't played enough games for Derby recently. I actually don't know, lads. The only one I can see is Coventry. Some people might think Gavin Kilkenny, but again, like, he only played one game in the last month or so. So no one that stands out to me.
Michael Obafemi, he's going to be included. He was last included in the 21s, wasn't he? So he's that. Kenny's, 12 goals this season.
Yeah, well, he wasn't quite, was he not? There was the whole thing that this whole miscommunication that he said he didn't want to be considered for the 21s. Look, Obafemi's going to be in there. I think Kenny kind of clarified it very, very well and very, very clearly in the last press conference before the March fixtures, didn't he? And Obafemi should be there. I think I can see it from his perspective. He was managing injuries. He's got bad hamstrings like myself, and he needed that recovery time. I completely get that. And they were friendlies. These are competitive games. I think the Nations League locks you in, doesn't it? As competitive games or into international caps. You have to have 3 now, don't you, as opposed to 1, because Obafemi did play in the Nations League, didn't he? So, yeah, I think he's going to be in there. I think, he's had a couple of weeks off from the Championship. Swansea obviously didn't make the playoffs. So, yeah, I think he's going to be in there. And if he's not, it's probably an injury issue again.
Super.
Yeah, just to come in there, I can't see anyone from the under-21s coming up. We've got 2 games, so he's not gonna change that squad after the back of a really good result as well.
Possibly in the middle of those fixtures, you might have someone coming in. Bagan is the only one that stands out simply because we've no depth there left back, do we? But apart from that, there's no one really. Connor Coventry is the standout player. Like he's an incredible player. Incredible player. But apart from that, there's no one there that I think is ready for the senior team.
Let's move it on there, lads. Thank you for that. Declan Finnegan, listening as always. Legend that is Declan Finnegan. It was great actually catching up with you, Declan, on Friday. We'll talk about that a bit later on. Nathan Collins is contracted at Burnley until, drum roll, 2025. Yeah. Declan, he just knows, doesn't he? Just knows these things. Paul Culleton, again. Would you guys like to see Caoimhín Kelleher go out on loan next season and play 40+ senior games over the course of full 6 months? I'm the Liverpool fan here, lads. So I'll answer this one. That's a tough one, actually, isn't it? Because you think, well, he's around, hopefully, a cup treble winning team and probably go on to hopefully win the league next year. Or does, it's great being around that, but does he go out and get games? I think personally, it's time for him now. He needs to go out and get games, lads. Really, doesn't he? He needs to be getting minutes under his belt.
Can I come in there for a second? There was a link.
Not champion, but okay.
There was a link. There was a link there with Feyenoord, wasn't there? And they're in the conference final, the UEFA conference final. So he now I don't know how concrete those rumors were, but he could have potentially been in a European Cup final. What
about you, Martin? I'll let you in on this, even though you're a Man United fan.
I think his situation is a little bit different to Bazunu. I think I'd prefer to see him stay at Liverpool. I think he'll get lots of games. They play a lot of games, as you know. They're so successful, aren't they?
They are
such a great side. So he'll get played in lots of them games, and he'll get a lot of football, I think, with them. Which and he's around that elite squad as well. So I think where the pressure will come on him, perhaps in the move, it will be in January, whether he has had enough football. Then he might be able to go for a loan move then. But I think Klopp really likes him, trusts him, played him in the cup final. And, I think he sees him as an important part of the squad. And I don't think this year's the one for him yet. I think Klopp will be very reluctant to let him go out there.
He'll be nurtured there.
Such a good keeper. Yeah, he will be. That's the difference.
He's great to have on the bench. Definitely. Darrell O'Connor. Yes, matching yes, matching lanyards we have, David. Yes, we do. See,
don't encourage him, Darrell. Darrell, unlike David, you earned yours. But don't encourage him.
Yeah, I didn't earn it, You see, when I was a kid, I was bullied because I didn't have a lanyard. And then, when I was growing up and I started doing Lansing Road, I was like, I'll show them all. Now I have my lanyard, so
now you're bullied because you have a lanyard.
Yeah, I get bullied on my own page.
You deserve it, mate.
I got called a clown last night. I didn't deserve that.
That was by me.
Clown. It probably was you, actually. And funny enough, the guy had the same surname as me. If you're watching, you know who you are. Val Maguire. Any update on Adam Ida?
Another couple of months.
Another couple of months.
Yeah.
He was very unlucky with his timing of that, wasn't he? Paul Culleton, again, also would like to say after discussion recently about the UEFA Nations League matches being live on free-to-air telly in Ireland that they are now RT all 6 matches. So home and away all shown live, which is really good. Channel 4 have the rights to the England games. Just thought put that out there. Just for Martin when he's secretly skiving off watching England. God, I'm fucking laying into everybody here, aren't I? Speaking of England, lads, we're gonna go a bit edgy. We're gonna talk a little bit about domestic English football.
Are we allowed to?
Probably not.
This is an Irish football podcast. What are you doing?
Yeah, well, we've done the boys in green bit. Now we're on to. Now we can talk about what we want. We're going to talk about pitch invasions and actually, could this in fact affect Irish football? Because let's be honest, right? Now this is going to go up the arse of many people sideways. Things that happen in England, football-wise, eventually happen in Ireland. true, isn't it? You know,
well, any trend, any social trend,
and this is a trend.
You follow.
Yeah, this is a trend now, and I've got some comments on this. What I'm going to read out anyway. And of course, you guys watching this live, please feel free to comment. But we've got some comments. We put up a little bit about this earlier on. But let's have a look at what we're talking about here, the pitch invasion. So we've had a few. I think there was one at Port Vale, whatever. Wasn't quite as high profile. We've had a few high profile ones. So Nottingham Forest, Sheffield United semi-final second leg playoff. Billy Sharp assaulted. Everton versus Crystal Palace. Patrick Vieira targeted. Man City v Aston Villa. I actually put that up by mistake. Freudian slip. Robin Olsen assaulted. That's the Aston Villa goalkeeper. Now, people, let's be honest. This is a huge problem. And it is only a matter of time before somebody is killed. And people might say, oh, Dave, you're being a bit much about that. Well, just have a look at the attack on Billy Sharper. It's a 3-second clip, lads. Blink and you'll miss it. Have a look at this. Boom. There you are. One more go of that. Bosh. I don't think it's too over dramatic to say that he could have fucking killed him there, couldn't he? Cut him right inside of the head. Wasn't expecting him. Bang.
You look at these one punch hits and people getting seriously hurt or killed, and the fact he lands on the back of his head, like people will say, get over it, like worse things happen on the pitch, but like the reality is he could have been seriously injured there. Seriously injured.
Yeah, absolutely.
No question.
Could have been paralyzed, could have been anything. Like you hear about people falling, hitting their head on the side of a path or whatever. Like
it's easily done. We're delicate creatures, and as I said, you can get loads of collisions on a football pitch, but if you land the wrong way, especially with the head, it's very dangerous territory.
100%. Let's have another look at another one. I can't speak tonight. This is Vieira. So obviously we saw I can't really show the Sky footage because they'll shut me down. Rupert Murdoch will come after me, whoever owns it. So we have the guy basically ran onto the pitch when Everton celebrated their survival. Bless him, little club. That'll be you guys in a few years' time. And basically, this guy ran on the pitch, goaded Vieira, and essentially then Vieira kind of snapped and gave him a bit of a kicking, whatever. This is what he goaded Vieira with. So here's I'm not sure if anyone has seen this. I hadn't seen this actually till quite recently. So there is some strong language, by the way, just so you're warned.
Suck on that, you puppets! Get it! Hey! Fuck off!
I love the way you see the camera go inside. He's getting a bit of a boot there. I mean,
do you know what, Dave? He didn't kick him hard enough.
He didn't kick him hard enough. What's going on here? Like,
it's a trend, lads. Social media is a big thing. You see that, and people want to put on their stories and put on Twitter and put on everything. They want to brag the fact that they were part of that trend and part of this stupid fad of running onto a pitch and invading it. And it's the same as, like, I know people probably rip me apart from this, but it was the same when all the kids were running onto pitches trying to get jerseys and all that kind of stuff. And
yeah,
it's nice and it's sweet when you see it, but it then becomes the norm, and this is the next level. This is the next level. And again, social media, Instagram stories, getting more followers, all that kind of thing. It's a massive impact on it because this didn't happen for years. Like it happened in the past, but it hadn't happened for years. And it's reckless.
Maybe we should do it with a green machine flag or something like that. Pay somebody to run the pit. No, it's very true though, isn't it, Martin? Like it's not just a case of, oh look, she goes on and gets Ronaldo's jersey and that's wonderful. Then it's the next level, isn't it? And then the next, and the next.
Yeah, so people just push the boundaries all the time, don't they? And that's the thing. Look, Roy, you'll probably have a go at me now for using Roy Keane's quote. But, he said post
language.
Post COVID-19, people are just scumbags now. They're trying to grate an edge everywhere, and it's just, like I said, pushing boundaries. You've got people going onto the pitch and stuff. Like this isn't like, if you think about the context of Irish sport, it's actually not a new thing. I think it's. After the GAA games, for example, people go on the pitch, but they do it in an organised way. It's nice there. Whereas I think because these footballers are perceived as so high profile, it's a big thing of let's get a selfie and stuff. Look, we can't forget as well, Tottenham's last game at White Hart Lane, they were all on the pitch and stuff, having photos with the crossbar broken. Man City did it yesterday. They were snorting cocaine on the pitches at White Hart Lane after that night. So there's footage of that. So it's just pushing the boundaries, and I think in the exuberance of the celebrations or whatever they want to do, that's just happening. But again, I just think there's, I can't see how there can be criticism of the clubs, the stewards, of not being able to police it, because you can't stop that amount of people going on a pitch. And the only way, they're saying is, oh, look, should we bring in bans and stuff? You've got to be consistent if you're doing that. I mean, I'm brilliant to see the fellow who, just absolute scumbag who attacked Billy Sharp there, which, it could have really caused him a lot of injuries.
Yeah, could have paralyzed him.
He's been put in prison, I think 24 weeks is all he got. But, it does become costly in a game if you don't police it and sort it out right. It has cost us in Ireland games. We've had stupid things happen. We had the lad come on with Kelleher and try and get a selfie. Absolute clowns. Them lads should be given a good couple of digs as soon as they come back in the stand.
Darrell O'Connor actually touches on that. He goes, in our own perspective, not only are the lads who ran on the pitch dopes, but our possession affects their run of play.
Yeah. So annoying. Like that. That's it.
It's so frustrating. And I've worked in football security. Colin Finnerty saying completely Grievera was right. I think so too as well. I've worked in football security for a number of years in this country, and people look at that and go, "Oh, where's the security?" Whatever. You have a stadium of 40,000 people, 30 minimum, right, and and beyond, and you have 10% booked for that. So whatever the crowd is, 10% of that is booked as security and stewarding and all that stuff. So it's a two-way street. The security alone can't do that. And people looking at that there. Imagine you had a stalker, wants to stick a knife in Ronaldo or whatever. They could easily just do that, because everyone needs to cooperate. And at football matches, weapons are taken off people that are around. Yeah, but we used to get all the time. Like we confiscate stuff.
But as you both said, lads, it's the next level. It's pushing the boundaries.
Yeah.
So the next thing is to is to bring a knife or is to do something, and but it's becoming a trend. That's the thing. It's like any trend, never mind football, but any trend, any social media. And I know I keep bringing it back to social media, but if you look at the pitch, every single person has their fucking phone out. So it's a social media trend. It's a massive factor. So what is the next thing that's going to happen? You look at the crossbar getting broken there. Is that going to happen in every game now?
That was Mermans, wasn't it, of the whole championship between Scotland and England?
No, I wouldn't be expecting this to happen in every game now. I mean, it is only when they win something, it seems to be, or a team loses, or it's the end of the season, isn't it? I think that's the
but I mean, a playoff semi-final, do you know what I mean? Come on.
Yeah, but then
you haven't even won the fucking thing yet.
I know that, but that's just if you're celebrating in front of your home ground stuff. Look, we had the situation as well with West Ham recently in Frankfurt, wasn't it, where the fans were allowed to go across and go with the fans. I mean, that's ridiculous. I also think, like you said there about the social media thing. James McLean, again, friend of the pod, maybe not of Nick, but I remember do you remember this a while ago when he was on a flight and this fella said, "Oh yeah, I put James McLean in his place," and that kind of stuff, and I sat next to him and I told him what we feel about him and stuff, and James McLean went, "Lovely conversation with you," kind of thing. What are you on about? It's all attention seeking half this crap. He didn't put him in his place, didn't call him out. You'd be nuts to do so. So I just think it's just absolute rubbish. That it's a thing, and it's a sad thing. I think even the shirts thing is mad with the kids and stuff. I just think it's fucking begging. Basically, it would mean the world. I think my son, if he was ever given a shirt by a player. But we went to a game yesterday, and he said, "Oh, I might make." I said, "No, you're not making a sign, not at all. That's not about."
Doesn't need to with you.
No, yeah, exactly. Some of them lads are lucky they left a shirt with. I don't want it. They'd have fucking landed it back at United yesterday, but but you know what I mean. I just think it's you're basically begging, and then you see that the parents are trying to sell them on eBay and stuff. There's nothing special about it.
Here's an interesting take, and then I'll run through some of the comments that we took on those road, because we promised to read some of them out. Darrell O'Connor, especially shite running up to Ronaldo looking for jerseys at Portugal at home. I'd at least have some respect if they ran to Egan or Robinson. It's Tim Pop behaviour, as you said.
Took away, and it was
that was set up though, wasn't it? Let's be honest, that was set up completely. The girl was known. It was in the paper the next day. She was an academy kind of player with a local.
Yeah, it did look a bit.
Still bullshit. That was. She got through and rubbish.
I'm going to read out some of the comments here that we took earlier on. Kevin Brown earlier on said pitch invasions need to stop. The other night at Everton was a disgrace, and at Man City's game yesterday, like Roy Keane said, oh god, in an interview, it is only a matter of time before someone is going to get seriously hurt. I think it probably won't get stopped, as massive amount of money would be needed for security reasons, but the FA should fine clubs heavily or deduct points of a team. It's funny, I actually get accused of being a Roy Keane fanboy on the page. Anyway,
what?
Yeah, I that happened last night. Shanko Brady Lug. Can we really blame parents? Loads off nice. Can we really blame parents? Loads of loads of nice kids from bad parents. If fans behaved, it wouldn't be an issue. Donald Creener. There's a far greater issue here than a recent spate of pitch invasion. Society is trying to come back together after 2 years of madness with COVID. And in brackets, he says, I don't care which side of that particular argument people are. It would be naive to think that lockdowns, missed social gatherings, time lost with loved ones, funeral missed, jobs lost. Oh, this is a big comment. I just you hit read more. It's like, come. I won't read it all, but it's very tense out there. People seem quicker to anger. People seem to have forgotten how to behave entirely.
That's it. Exactly.
Here.
I think that's right.
In every aspect of life, lads, not just football.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. Shane McLaughlin, they could stop it overnight if only they had the balls to do it. Points deduction for guilty clubs. City lose the league. Everton relegated. Pitch invasion is no longer a problem. Sean McLaughlin, you are a man after my own heart. Just want to say that.
That won't happen. Too much money in football. That won't happen. It should be threatened, but they'll never be able to go through with it. No. Because what will happen was the club will blame the police.
They'll tie their assholes up in court.
A steward's not going to stop someone coming on a big fucking group and jumping over there. They can't stop them at Croke Park.
Well, do you know the police actually turn around and beforehand, the clubs used to say to the police, look, we think this is a category. So A, B, and C. A is everything's grand, police in the control room. B is police outside the ground. C is inside, outside, and then it goes up. But the police actually tell the clubs now, this is how you're going to do it.
Yeah.
So they decide where the club actually, well, no, and I've seen games that are A that should have been at least a B and this kind of stuff. Anyway, I think Shane Lucy, I think the money these players are getting, they could do with being chased off the field by supporters like the old days. Stephen O'Connell, well, I don't think so in the Irish games. Not enough fans go to the matches. Oh, Stephen, how dare you? Luke Concannon, this sickness of English football fans I've watched now for 50 years in one form or another. British commentators will remark, I was just a minority, just a few. It is too many. Round up a few hundred of them. Dish out heavy fines along community service. Graham Nolan. The pitch no longer seems sacred, a players-only area. We've seen it with youngsters being cheered for running onto the pitch to get a shirt. Lovely for them. But if I or any of my friends is similar, when we were younger, there have been trouble from my parents at least. Until we get the respect for the pitch and the shared social responsibilities back, fan thuggery and pitch invasions will continue. I think that's very fair, The pitch used to, it'd be like
sacred.
Kryptonite, wasn't it? You touched it, oh God, it's like lava, Now people are just going, I just run across it, like just for the crack.
Yeah.
I think he's absolutely right. Declan Finnegan has his own suggestions. I don't know if this is a suggestion, lads, or maybe he's thinking that this is probably where it's going. Razor wire fences.
Jesus.
I had that.
Electric fence.
Yeah.
Sniper in the gantry.
I think the Premier League should have like somebody with an AK-47, and when they run on, just like fire a few shots in the air. I'm just saying,
when they first brought. Look, I'm old enough to remember when they first took down the fences and stuff, and when they first brought them in at Wembley Stadium. They kind of had this weird kind of barrier system. So basically, you were trying to climb over a kind of wire kind of thing. It wasn't mesh. It wouldn't really, you get trapped in it, but it wouldn't really get hurt. You had to kind of clear like a meter at least. But you were evidently watched trying to do it. And like no one really got in it over at Wembley for many years when they brought that in. And it wasn't you blocking your view and things like that. I think that is something perhaps. But, a lot of them do that, don't they? They put the mesh at the front now over the front row seats to stop people that way. I mean, look, at the Aviva, we don't have the problem. We have you're actually standing up for the last 2 minutes of the game because you've got stewards standing in front of you. A dead rubber game, 0-0, and they're blocking your view. So they're so worried about it.
That is standard. I mean, we used to do that at football matches as well. When I was back in the security days, or if a goal went in, the guys would stand.
Yeah.
basically, it does a bit of trouble. We'll have one more comment on it, and then we'll move on. Daryl O'Connor, anything to add? Colour, noise, and flags. I'm all for in our home games for atmosphere, but can we please ban those signs for jerseys? Too touristy for my liking. Yeah, I hate that, and it is.
And the half and half scarves as well.
Yeah, I just social media, lads, it's absolutely just ruining everything. And on that note, please subscribe to our Facebook page, GM Podcast, and also don't forget Lansdowne Road, lansdowneroad.ie, and you can get this for free if you don't want one of those subscription services on the greenmachinepodcast.com. That will be the audio version, of course. I forgot to mention, lads, the Irish squad, by the way, whilst we're at it, will be announced on 25th of May. That's 2 days' time. We're going to find out. And we've got one comment before we move on to social media watch. More social media. Paul Culleton, just on Conor Coventry possibly being called up to the senior squad. Josh Cullen is suspended for the first Nations League match.
Interesting.
Good man,
interesting.
Paul. You see, he's doing your job for you, Nick.
I know, yeah. Paul's Paul's actually contributed more to Green Machine than I have in the last month. To be fair, look, Coventry's an excellent player, and he's kind of the like for like replacement, isn't he? Gavin Kilkenny, he hasn't really played much, but I think he'd do a similar job to Cullen.
Absolutely, totally agree there. Right, lads, let's move on to social media watch. I'm going to start with some nice news. I've got a tweet here from Liverpool Football Club about.
Okay.
It's good. No, hold on a second. Now, Martin. None of this touching and sighing nonsense, right? Show some respect. We'll try it again. So a tweet here from Liverpool FC Women introducing the Liverpool DSA Women's Player of the Year, Leanne Kiernan. Well done to you, Leanne. We're very, very, very proud of you. Fantastic achievement, really. And also, the women's game as well is really coming along. Fantastic stuff. Here's my favorite one, lads. Anyone here remember Warren Barton?
Yep.
Nick, probably you don't, do you?
I remember him at Derby, but I know he played for Newcastle. Don't quite remember that now.
He did.
Wimbledon as well, he played.
So basically, we have another Man United fan here, not Warren Barton, Wayne Barton. So basically, this guy, he writes for Manchester United, decided to troll Steven Gerrard over again, because that's what Man United fans do now, you see, because, you can't win anything yourself. So Wayne Barton, congratulations, Steven Gerrard, who is now the unique distinction of bottling league titles for Liverpool as a player and a manager. And of course, John O'Brien responds, were you part of the Newcastle team that bottled the league too, weren't you? Makes sense. Unfortunately, John O'Brien has mistaken Wayne Barton for Warren Barton.
To find Barnett.
That is a cracking head of hair, actually. Yes, and it actually gets better because then some other guy goes to Wayne Barton. I've got 3 caps for England, apparently. Wayne Barton, the guy who got capped for England 3 times. What a journeyman joke of a footballer. That is amazing.
That is so cool. Wayne Barton, I kind of know him. He is the kind of go-to author now of Man United books. Done a brilliant biography of George Best. I think he did as well Too Good to Go Down, which was a story of when Man United got relegated in the 70s and stuff. So you might enjoy that, Dave, when we still were the most popular team in English football. But anyway, I digress. But no, Wayne's a good lad. He's obviously winds people up quite a bit as well. But yeah, really respected author and some fantastic coverage of his books and stuff. So how you mix him up, I don't know, because but yeah, that is the best little faux pas I think I've seen for a long time.
What was the name of his book? Sorry,
Wayne Barton. He's done Too Good to Go Down now.
Yeah, might be a sequel coming soon.
Yeah. Oh, here we go. No, he's done a George Best one, Beckham one, Rooney one. He does some fantastic books on Man United, but very, very well done. Really amazing. Like George Best, for example. I'm going to digress a little bit now, but everyone knows George Best stories. George Best has had about 20 autobiographies himself, or biographies. But actually, when I read that one, you learn more about George Best actually. From
birthday today, isn't it?
Yesterday. He would have been yeah. Fabulous player, to be fair. He was a handsome bastard in his day. I'll give him that. Moving on. Peter Reid actually shared on his Twitter. He bumped into Kevin Moran. and obviously commenting, he's only whipped me up again. Now, for those of you who remember, 1985 FA Cup final, basically Peter Reid was apparently through on goal. Everton, Man United, Reid for Everton, Kevin Moran for United, and he took him out as the last man. Now, to be fair, it probably wasn't really a red card because there was no way Peter Reid was going to make that. But that meant that Kevin Moran became the first ever player to be sent off in an FA Cup, Wembley FA Cup final. Yeah. But they met there again. I tell you what, for a man that drank as much as Kevin Moran, he looks phenomenally well, doesn't he? For 66 as well.
Jeez, Reid looks all right as well, though, doesn't he? You know,
yeah, he does, yeah.
Yeah.
Can I just say two lads who were linked with the Ireland job at some time in their career?
That's right. Yeah, he did a bloody good job at City and Sunderland as well. I'll tell you what, since we're still in the actually somebody that we want to push here as well is Irish Football Retweet. If you're on Twitter, he's very good. There he is there again at Irish Football Tweet. He does the business. We've also got we have another podcast as well, don't we? Irish Football Blogs. Nick, you want to tell us about this?
Yeah, Irish Football Blog or Blog Irish on Twitter. I mean, really, really good Twitter page there. They've after started doing a podcast there, Pelcast. They did a pilot there last week. And they released an episode there the other day, kind of around an All-Ireland League. Excellent knowledge, like, you know, phenomenal knowledge. Nearly as good as you, Dave, and you, Martin, but you know, excellent. And I think that look, we like to we're not self-righteous, and we don't say that we're the only podcast out there, but like they're a podcast that will hopefully grow and will be a good mainstay for a lot of Irish fans.
You mean there are others?
Once you're listening to us as well.
Yeah. You mean there are other podcasts out there? Other Irish footballing entities?
Nah, it's only us. Only us, Dave. No,
there's only one. There's only one official voice, isn't there? Apparently. But no.
Which isn't us, by the way.
We share the love. It's all promoting the beautiful game in Ireland. So
we really do. And speaking of sharing the love and a beautiful game, we did have the Risk quiz night, the Risk London quiz night actually up in Hendon at the Clattering. Martin, you were quiz master. Fortunately, my team finished fourth, so guaranteed Champions League football next year at least. Should have called me Team Arsenal, really. But
what did you call your team? Tell the viewers and listeners, what did you call your team?
Callum O'Dowd fan club.
Yeah, just to take the piss out of me. Yeah, thanks.
How's he doing? Has he found another club yet? Or
not yet? No, I'm waiting to hear. Yeah, apparently speculation that Birmingham, I think, is now, and Ipswich Town, I think, might be interested as well today.
Jeez.
But yeah, that there's something to be an announcement there. No, really good night, obviously, for the Risk London quiz in aid of Irish Motor Neuron Disease Association. We raised over £2,000, so that was fantastic on the night. There's our winners there, Peter McGarry there is, and that fantastic. Ian Carson on the left, who put forward the charity himself. Ian actually suffers with motor neuron disease, so brilliant to see him there. Really well supported by our members and other friends as well who attended. We had a signed Ireland shirt that was won in the raffle as well. Brilliantly hosted at the Clattering. You know, I know that night we did have a clash, late show. Thought they could try and steal our thunder by bringing in the big guns, President Michael D and everyone on there, Niall Quinn, Bazuna and stuff. But look, we had our own little celebration.
We did.
And a charity night. And very, very good. And I must say, David, you've done really well with that. You know, look, the team you were in also had Pat Keenan. I'll give him a shout out, a good friend of mine, and on my son Kean. And I know that Kean got one of the questions right. You actually struggled with, I think.
Well, to be fair, there wasn't many I struggled with. Just saying. Yeah, there was one that was actually it was who scored the first penalty in the shootout in Genoa.
1990.
Yeah, I was going to say Andy Townsend. He got it right. He said Kevin Sheedy, and he said a couple about Kilkenny as well. I mean, you got to understand, Mark, when you're from Dublin, I mean, you don't really care about the rest. It's true, though.
Yeah, Nick, you're a little bit lost on. You were lost on the hurling questions, to be fair. But then
I'm not a GAR man.
Well, that's fine.
You know, I want none of this nonsense, this GA shite that we get every now and again. You want that? Go to Off the Ball or one of those other ones with a monopoly on it. There was also a fantastic prize. This should have been first prize, actually, wasn't it?
This was a good prize. Yeah,
the sauce. That's Guinness sauce. Cattle Chew, the club secretary, is he, or
club,
is he?
Club membership secretary. Yeah, Cahill put that forward, and that was a bit of fun. Who won that? And to be honest, the buffet came out as well, and like people were dipping sausages and everything into it. But yeah, it was all right. It was a quiet taste, I think. But yeah, great night. Like raised over $2,000, which is fantastic, and a big thank you to the sponsors and stuff. But like, it'll make a big difference to everybody. And thank you, David, again for your support, and the Green Machine podcast, of course, because put forward some prizes as well with the lovely the printed picture Lansdowne Road that you put forward. Yeah. So
it was nothing on that World of Motion book, though, was it?
Jeez, the World of Motion book is a fantastic book. But we have loads and loads of copies of it.
He was pushing it. Like he was just like, don't forget now.
I've still got one here. I've still got one here. They're all around my house. It's
I haven't read it. I must read it.
It is a good book. Although I'm going to make a point about this. This is the World Cup, the inside story of the tournament that changed football. And I recently saw that the 1994 World Cup has been made into a book, and that is also classed as the tournament that changed world football. So what would it be, 1990 or 94?
I think 94 was the one. I actually, 1990 did change it in terms of they went, oh dear, we really need to change this pass back rule. I think it was Ireland, actually, wasn't it? And that started to change. I think 94 was the one that because the Americans, they don't do anything half-arsed, do they? Like, everything's spectacular. And then that was the first one they looked at and went, you know what? We need to make this big, like really, really big. So in a way, they're both right.
Yeah.
Just putting it out there. Nick wasn't born for any of them anyway, so
no
point in asking his opinion. Speaking of late,
it's a fantastic book. Just going to come into it quickly about one thing about it. I haven't read it myself, all of it, but the Costa Rica story is incredible because Costa Rica, if you remember, they beat Scotland, which we're going to do on the 11th. But
their team,
nice link there. But Costa Rica, because they beat Scotland in the World Cup, they actually have a national holiday.
Wow,
which I thought was quite impressive.
That's amazing. Don't we have one as well on the 12th of June?
Unofficial one.
that we do. Speaking of unofficial holidays, I don't know actually where I'm going with that segue. Anyway, late show, lads. I was at the Risk London thing. Nick, did you watch the late show?
I didn't even bother.
You didn't want to listen to Ryan Turley talk about soccer ball?
No, absolutely not. No. I said this. Kevin Higgins on Twitter was kind of having a go at it, and I kind of agree with him there. And I mean, it's this whole tick the box exercise, isn't it? Tick the box exercise to the FAI, tick the box exercise for Tubridy and RTE. I mean, the Late Show is a load of shite. I can't believe we're paying our license fee towards it. And no, I'm not gonna listen to someone who has no interest in sport celebrate the centenary. Fuck that. No.
Yeah, I
nonsense. And even just I don't know if that was the actual date of the centenary, but the fact that our national team captain had a game the next day, it just shows how fucking clueless the lot are. Fuck them. No, absolutely didn't watch it. No,
it did look absolutely
like anything RTE or the Late Show do. It's cringeworthy. It's tokenism. It's bullshit. No, fuck that. It wasn't arse. And look, some great personalities attended it. I mean, we saw Paul McGrath there. We saw Olivia O'Toole there. Some really amazing figures in Irish football. Packy Bonner there. I'm only naming a few, and there's some of the current lads, Gavin Bassoon and Darrell O'Shea. But no, not the right platform. Not the right platform. I would have preferred Channel 4 got Ardal O'Hanlon or something to host it and to have something with a bit of crack. Like, no, RT is a load of bollocks.
Jesus, tell me you really think, Nick.
Agree completely. Yeah.
And look, it could have been an incredible show, but no, I'm not gonna up their figures or whatever. Fuck that.
Fair enough. What was I gonna say? Yeah, I totally agree there. It probably sounded like it just sounded like my worst nightmare. And
tick the box exercise.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of the president either. Shock horror, and all of a sudden he's this great football figure or whatever. Yeah, I not for me. I'm sorry. Just all this nonsense, really. Mark Ty wasn't given an invite, which is which goes to show you really how much of a PR exercise.
You haven't a clue. None of them have a clue.
No, they didn't invite. Look, I'm not saying West London at all, but like no, Chris and stuff like that. They didn't invite like supporters groups and stuff to kind of hear some of their stories as well. They've been part of the journey as much as anyone else. It's the very lowest common denominator kind of broadcasting. It's the base of knowledge of football. Basically, he has no interest in it. He's no interest in sport. He's awful when it comes to that. He doesn't even bother doing the research. I find him very, very lazy. So you're not learning anything new with him, and you're just going to hear about, oh, and Big Jack said to me by Paul McGrath, and that's not a criticism of Big Paul, but that's just, he's going to be asked the most stupid kind of questions that you're learning nothing new. You're learning nothing new with it, and Kenny was on it recently, wasn't he, as well, before with him, and again, the PR thing, and no problem with the PR stuff, but that's what it was, and I know that was what it was, so I'm not going to bother watching it.
Pure PR spin.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with that. Yeah, lads, I think we are coming up to the end of it. I think we're coming up to our This Week Back in the Day. Just going to have a little look at the comments here. Declan Finnegan, watched an RT player today. Jesus, totally is cringeworthy. Absolutely. Kieran Boyle. Haven't got around to watching a football special, but at some stage, but you'll know it'll be crap. I think it's
there's more. I'd say there's more Adidas jerseys on that one though, Kieran, than Umbro. So you might be safe.
Yeah. Anyway, lads, speaking of Adidas jerseys, actually, let's move on to This Week Back in the Day. And actually, we've got a little curveball there. I've just seen in the comments a question's been asked. So we normally go after This Week Back in the Day, but we're not. We've got a little extra DVD extra coming up. So get excited. So on this very day, gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen, and anyone in between watching, did you know that we beat? That's an old line from MASH, by the way. Before I get absolutely lynched. This week back in the day, that we actually beat, and I can't find. I have the video here somewhere, but we actually beat Brazil 1-0 in 1987. And did you know I can't find the video clip? Isn't that great? Here we go. Yeah, I'm going to roll the clip here once it uploads. This is very professional, isn't it? You wouldn't get this on Irish Football Fan TV or anywhere else. You really wouldn't, just the professional look. Anyway, let's roll the clip.
Aldridge and Berg. And now Brady again. Yes! Super builder.
That's a lovely goal. Now, I put that up there and said that, people say that this is one of the greatest victories of Irish football. Not really when you look at it in the context of it. I said that the Irish team was far stronger than the Brazilian team. That Brazilian team had got to the quarterfinals of the World Cup the previous summer in Mexico, and I got lashed out of it. I was called a clown for saying that because that Brazil team was at Mexico, and we went fuck off, and we weren't. And I'm like, well, Costa Rica, Iraq, Algeria all played. Canada played at Mexico '86. So does that mean that they were better than Ireland anyway? But that was a very strong Ireland team. It was one of the best, probably the best. That period had the best starting 11 Ireland ever had. So yeah, I don't need one input from you lads on that. There's no conversation. Darrell O'Connor, lovely goal and lovely jersey. I do love that jersey. It is an absolute humdinger. But here is the curveball, lads. Kieran Boyle, right? He asked the question. Lads, look forward to the show every week. Quick question. Which goal do you think was the best goal scored by an away team at Lansdowne? For me, it's Ortega's in April 98. Hashtag away to Jesus with Umbro. God bless you, Kieran Boyle. I have one to hand, which I think is an absolute belter and probably not very well seen. Martin, I'm going to go clockwise. What's your favourite away goal against Ireland? Best.
You're throwing this one in.
Great question, by the way.
It's a tough one. It's a really good question. I'm not sure. I can't even remember.
Oh,
I'm trying to
Jesus.
think.
Nick.
No, it's not great.
Do you remember we played?
He wakes up.
Yeah, we played Andorra in 2010. It was one of the first games in the new Lansdowne Road, and Andorra scored kind of a cancellation goal. It was just beautiful technique. The Ortega one was class though. There's not a lot that are coming to mind. To be brutally honest, like I'm sure there's loads there if we've more time to research it. But that Andorra goal in 2010 was probably the best one. And the most important thing is we actually won the game, so it didn't matter in the end. Yeah,
that is an absolute screamer. I do have it there, but I'd have to show the highlights of the whole match. I don't really want to do that. That was actually that was Ireland's first
competitive goal to concede, I think, isn't it?
Yeah. It was a competitive match. Martin, are you?
I'm gonna. I think it's a question worth coming back to be honest. For next week, I'm gonna do a bit of research on that. In my mind, I can't remember how good it was, but the France goal when they beat us 1-0 under Kerr, what was that like?
That was a screamer. That was a screamer's top.
That was the one that beat Shea, and then they had the free kick save in that game as well. But
that was also amazing. I actually, funny story. I worked in Paddy Powers for that game, and I was in the East Stand. I was actually telling the story to Declan. In fact,
Declan the other night,
yeah, and I actually. My manager had a migraine, and I had to take her out around the pitch, right at the back of the in front of the south stand, around the old pitch. And I remember just like she had a thing over her head, like her jacket, she couldn't see, and I was kind of just guiding her. I was looking, I was like, just saw like Keane and Vieira and like all these great players. Like, wow, Anyway, got her out of the Old West Stand, and do you remember there used to be like a little cabin, like a little mini porter cabin, where the security guys sit, you'd have the thing going up and down the barrier. And I remember I pour her into it, flag the cab down, just threw into it because I heard a roar from inside. So shit, just been a goal. So just like, yeah, off you go. Just in you go, love. Bang. See you later. Run into the little cabin, and I just see the French players celebrating, and I was fucking disgusted. And yeah, that was my memory from that game. One I'm going to go with here. I'm going to share this with you. And this is a screamer of a goal. This is for Finland against Ireland from 1990. Have a look at this.
When jockey for positions with England and Holland. Partolainen is calling for it, and he will get it there, but McCarthy up above him. Came to the substitute. A screamer of a goal. Hope.
Pick that out, son.
Great goal.
I think that one is an absolute whirly. I think the Andorra one, though, Nick, I think that's an excellent suggestion. Martin, we'll give you a whole week. You got 1 week to come up with it. And then we'll put it on here. How dare you? Sorry about that, Kieran. One last comment, lads, and then we're going to go. Daryl O'Connor, would you be open to a black jersey every couple of years for an on-away shirt, or just stick to white? I'm a traditionalist with jerseys, but the tricolour looks class on a black background. I think a black jersey every now and again would be quite nice.
Yeah, I've the one from 2008. I think that we played Wales.
Played Wales, yeah, the one up there, 2-2 game, yeah.
And there's a lovely one that keeps popping up on eBay now and again. The one from I think 1997, just the kind of black orange and green one's lovely.
I will admit, I think that is lovely. And you've been lovely too. Lads, we're going to leave it there. We've gone a bit over time, but I've really enjoyed this one. Thank you guys for coming on. Thank you for listening at home. If this is the audio podcast, thank you for tuning in and listening to us. Just do a little bit of housekeeping at the end. Please don't forget, to subscribe to the Facebook page. That is facebook.com/the GM podcast. Also, lansdownroad.ie. We have a huge month coming up for the World Cups and European Championships, by the way. Loads of new footage, and I can't wait to share that. You can also listen to this podcast completely free if you don't want to go to Spotify, Google, wherever, Napster, wherever we have it. You don't remember Napster, Nick. It's okay. Don't worry about it. You can go to greenmachinepodcast.com and you can get all of this stuff ad-free because we don't have any sponsors.
Just like the FAI.
Yeah, just like the FEI. When the FEI get a sponsor, we'll get one too. So maybe in about 4 or 5 years. We do have a bit of a sponsor. Do not use GoToGate.com. They are thieving bastards. You know the score. And guys, thank you very much. Thank you for listening.
Thank you.
We're gonna leave you to it. We'll be back next week. We will have something. The squad is announced on the 25th of May. We are going to have something for you there. We're going to have a chat about it and try and get your comments in on that. Guys, everyone at home, thank you so much for tuning in. We will see you again next week at the same time. Hopefully at the normal time and not late. Sorry about that. That was Martin keeping us delayed there as always. Good night. God bless.